This is like the first.
私、このような景色は初めてです。街がまるで積み木で作られているように見えます。
I didn't mention it before, but this is like the first time where a visual novel has like this bar at the bottom of the thing, the text box that just shows the length of the scene. I'll be smart. I know how it knows how to read the situation. That's why it stays silent while being protected by the silence. Hachiroku happily looks below.
あの見事なお屋根は何でしょう。
赤い阿蘇神社だな。屋根だけでなく、佇まい全般が美しい場所だ。
あの森は一つだけ随分と小高いところにありますが。
お人よ城址。あそこからもお人よの街並みを見下ろせる。無論、ここからほどに広くは無理だが。
さようですね。ここはお空の上ですものね。
If Navi had a human body, she would have been a heroine. Okay. I guess, yeah. Hachiroku reaches out with both her short arms. She pretends to use them as wings to fly even higher. Look, all I'm saying is that this seems very dangerous. Right? There's just no covering over the like, how do I say, where they're sitting.
飛行機には初めて乗りましたが、良いものです。きっと鉄道の次に素敵な乗り物でしょうね。これは。
There is an invisible barrier. Well, how big is the barrier? Because Hachiroku's hand is past where you'd think. I was joking. Right, yeah. Look, the logistics here, there's a reason there's a covering, alright? It's not just because of the birds. It's a visual novel. Well, that could fall out. Still.
鉄道は最高順位ということか。
はい、もちろん。私はレールロードですから。
Obvious smart. Okay, well. Sure.
レールロードか。確か鉄道車両それぞれに一体ずつついているものでよかったか。
Look, all I'm saying is that it doesn't matter how smart Navi is, you'd be freezing to death. Alright? It would be fucking freezing cold up there. I throw out the seemingly simple question. Hachiroku gives a proud smirk.
客車にはついていません。機関車、機動車などの動力車、自ら動く車両をまず私たちは制御します。
There has to be heat somewhere. Yeah, but then the only heat would be like the seat. Right?
制御。それは運転制御ということか。
それももちろん、駆動車両及び列車の制御はレールロードと機関士、運転士との共同で行います。
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that was the first scene of the game. The person who actually drives the locomotive is the engineer. He tells me that the person who controls any other driver car is considered the driver. I previously saw this as one large category of railways. It seems that detail is more complicated than I thought. The details.
まずであり、それもであるなら、レールロードはさらに後半に鉄道を制御するものか。
はい、 その通りです、相鉄様。私たちはダイアグラムを提案し、運転計画をも制御します。
There's the diagram.
レールロード同士は共感により、単一の路線上でも、複数の路線間ででも、最も効率の良い列車の運行を状況変化に対応しつつ、
Oh shit, this is a long
適宜
one.
行うことが可能です。でも、鉄道会社の経営とか、お客さんの利便性とかも考えないと、使ってもらいやすい路線にはならないです。だから、そういうのも全部考えて、みんなで相談して作るのがダイアグラム、列車の運行計画ですよ。平常時はそうした通常ダイヤに従って列車を運行させますが、観光が盛んになるシーズンや事故発生時などには変化に対応するための臨時ダイヤが組まれます。
Yeah, I get it. Taking the side of the words, I don't know the definitions to let me summarize what I do understand. No, don't worry, I've got the definitions.
私たちと繰り返しているが、
レールロードは言うなれば全て姉妹。その全てが相互に共感通信を行うことができます。
Sympathetic communication is something that aircraft navigation systems like Navi also have. It's considered one of the most important features of it to have, for it to have. Yeah, so aircraft is essentially just an evolution of rail lords, but not as cute.
その個体が得たさまざまな情報をリアルタイムに共有し、集合最適処理する仕組みでよかったか。
お詳しいのですね、相鉄様。そのご解釈はほぼ実際と合致しております。
Hachiroku seems happy. Of course, it makes it even harder than of course it makes it even harder than for me to say that I actually just learned that from Navi.
ですので私たちは運転支障発生時でも臨時ダイヤを極めて短時間で作成提案可能となります。
支障を回復するための最善策を短期間に取り得るということか。
はい、さようです。
That means Hachiroku and other rail lords' sympathetic connection has the same brute functionality as aircraft navigation systems like Navi. Well, yeah, they probably just evolved the sympathetic connection from rail lords and applied it to aircraft. That's probably the biggest reason engine-based ground automobiles are all but non-existent these days, and have essentially been replaced by their aircraft counterparts. Wait, are there no ground automobiles, or is it just engine-based? What does that mean? Because aircraft is an engine, right? Just, well, it's something else, but the sympathetic connection can obtain accident information and share detour routes, and also provide the autopilot feature via Navi. This has eradicated the phenomenon of traffic jams. Now car traveled works on completely fixed time.
共感通信とは便利なものだな。
After saying that, Hachiroku nods proudly.
はい。ですので私たちレールロードは運行とダイヤのすべてを把握し制御できたのです。
故にロードか支配者か。
いいえ、相鉄様。レールも車両もレールロードもすべてを支配するものでしたら、それは相鉄様たち人間です。
She states it so matter-of-factly, words uttered in complete calm. Hachiroku's tiny hands have unusually long fingers, He waves a digit in the air to write out the word road.
私たちの把握と制御はその道筋をつけるため、私たちは線路と同じレールロードに過ぎません。
なるほどな。
Her unwavering pride fills her words. No matter how traffic changes in the modern day, railways will always be considered the best to Hachiroku.
そこまで86が誇るものなら、お前の制御する駆動車両か。それに僕も乗りたいものだ。
それはいつかいつかきっと叶うものなら。
She suddenly becomes less articulate. I wait for a while, but the silence lingers, becoming more almost deafening. I should say something. I think again on the doubt that I had in the back of my mind moments ago.
鉄道用語なのだろうが、ダイヤグラムだの、臨時ダイヤだのとはなんだ？
A sigh of relief. Hachiroku speaks up with flowing eloquence once more.
列車の運行計画のことです。適正なダイヤグラムは事故を防止し、運転効率を向上させます。
事故の防止か。
Well, yeah. You don't want two trains colliding with each other, do you? Something about that bothers me. My past self would have cried out, asking why accidents, such as mine, were allowed to happen in the first place. And even though I know it was meaningless, I still have to ask the question.
では、事故を起こす列車はレールロードに制御されていないものなのか？
Damn.
いえ。
Hachiroku's expression distorts in pain. The frequency of her voice noticeably drops.
例えば線路にされた置き石を私たちは画像センサー、いわば目視でしか発見できません。
目視でしか？それでは人間と
大差ありませんので、置き石に気づいた時にはもうブレーキが間に合わないことがほとんどです。
なるほど。線路に起きた障害に対しては都度での対処しかできないというわけか。
その通りです、相鉄様。
Rail laws are not all powerful. Granted, neither are the sympathetic connection system or the aircraft navigation systems. Which is why, no matter how much technology has developed, accidents still occur. Granted, the true cause of accidents is not technology. I mean, yeah, to be fair, it's not the rail lord's fault that the trains go too fast, alright? For them to not be able to stop in time. If this game was a Nuki game, there would have been an hate scene. A hate scene immediately with Hibiki and Hachiroku. What?
そうした事態を防止するため、保線係という職員たちが線路の管理をしていましたが。
She sounds as if she's forcing herself to speak.
蹄鉄末期には保線係の不足も甚だしいものとなりました。あの時期、鉄道事故が多発した一因はそれです。
So I know what a Nukige is. I'm saying what to Hibiki and Hachiroku hate scene.
蹄鉄末期。
That was when I was still a boy, around the time of the accident. Where you first met Hachiroku. That's not what I'm questioning. What do you mean a hate scene between Hibiki and Hachiroku? What context can you provide that would justify your why you think that? That era will simply, or should I say ruthlessly, be called
大敗戦時代。
大敗戦時代。
Hachiroku's and my voice intersect. I don't know if that feels reassuring or not, but Hachiroku finally looks up again.
皮肉なことに、私たちレールロードがその進化をフルに発揮したのもあの時代でした。
事故が多発したせいか。臨時ダイヤとやらが必要になったから。
Do you mean a hate scene between Hibiki Hachiroku and Maitetsu? Because how you worded it is without Maitetsu.
ご明察です、相鉄様。しかし、やがて。
With Maitetsu, okay. Now I get it. Hachiroku trails off. An increase in accidents, closure of tracks, guarding of trains. Damn, you're slow. It's not my fault you worded it weirdly. That's on you. The end that was brought by the track closure error at the end of the railways themselves.
私がタイト様に買い取られたのもその時期です。
Hachiroku's gaze turns to outside the canopy. There's a canopy? The dementia's spreading? No, I think yours is spreading to me, alright? Her expression is gloomy. It makes me feel similarly too.
しかし、私にはその時期の記憶がありません。この美しい街を見たかどうかさえ覚えていないのです。
見ていないだろう、ここからは。
I point out that fact as cheerfully as I can. I point ahead to direct Hachiroku's gaze and hope that this gloominess dissipates into the sky.
歩いてみるお人よの街はまた別の顔だ。歩くうち、あるいは見覚えに出くわすかもしれん。
そうですね。はい、相鉄様のおっしゃる通りと思います。
I nod in agreement. Her expression brightens up a bit again. Unlike the forced one from earlier, I find out how naturally a smile she actually has. Natural a smile.
それにしても、相鉄様は少しお人が悪いですね。
僕がか？
だって、よりにもよってエアクラに乗せるだなんておっしゃって。
なあ。
I get it. He loves and takes pride in the railways, and hates aircraft precisely because of that. Because aircraft made railway obsolete.
飛行機なら飛行機と最初からおっしゃってくだされば、私もお見苦しいところを見せずに済みましたのに。
確かにな。
Hachiroku's right. Hachiroku's right. I feel like a bit of an asshole right now. I coerced Navi to stay silent, and I tricked Hachiroku. Did you though? You didn't. It's not like you knew that she was so opposed to aircraft.
人が悪いのも仕方ないのだ。何せ僕はお人よしの生まれではない。
そうなのですか？
うん、そうなのだ。
After saying that, Hachiroku giggles a bit.
なら私は相鉄様のお人の悪さに感謝しなくてはいけませんね。
感謝？なぜだ？
最初から飛行機と聞いていたなら、私きっと慣れている風を装ってキョロキョロできませんでした。
Hachiroku innocently says that and starts peering over the edge to see the scenery below.
川も豊かで見事です。あの水を 先ほど私はいただいたのでしょうか？
うん、球磨川の水だ。もっとも酒造りに使うのはもっと上流、源流に近いところの水だそうだが。
素晴らしいですね。いつか機会があればこの素晴らしい川の源を眺めてみたいものです。
Her words surprised me. My emotions spill from my mouth.
同じことを思うのだな、僕と。
相鉄様も？
うん、ここに引き取られてすぐのことだがな。
引き取られてですか？
なあ、僕は右田の養子なのだ。
There's no point in hiding it, but Hachiroku is a rail lord. I'd rather she not be bothered by it, so I purposefully didn't tell her about the rail accident.
僕は事故で家族の全てをなくし、右田家にタイトさんに引き取られ、その養孫となった。
He bought a rail lord and adopted a grandson at the same time.
タイト様に相鉄様も。あ、だから名前の話の時に響様を。
あれは僕が養子だという話を嫌うのだ。僕は気にせんのだが、覚えておいてもらえば助かる。
Hachiroku looks down.
はい、以降は間違いなく。知らぬこととはいえ失礼しました。
何、知らぬがゆえの失礼なら僕もした。そうだ、これでおあいこということにならんか。
Her downward gaze picks up. A playful glint shines in her eyes.
さようでした。お人の悪い相鉄様に私寝込みを襲われ脱がされてしまいましたね。
Hey, he didn't know, okay?
おいおい、人聞きの悪いことは。
お空ですよ、相鉄様。飛ぶ鳥は私たちの声などきっと聞きません。
Yeah, and before a bird slams into his fucking head. Probably not, but Navi is listening. I hope it doesn't misconstrue the situation.
ご安心ください、相鉄様。私もう少しも怒っても不愉快と思ってもおりません。
そうなのか。
I'm totally convinced, considering how happy she looks. Maybe she's just able to switch her mentality that easily, or maybe her personality is similar to mine.
ですが、まだおあいこにはできません。
なぜだ、怒ってないのなら。
怒ってないからむしろです。平手打ちを余分に一つ、私は相鉄様に。
You slapped him once. What do you mean?
なるほど。よかろう。
Like, I lightly tap her forehead with my fingertip, gently enough so that it won't actually hurt.
体格差を加味すればこんなところだろう。いいな、86。これで手打ちだ。
かしこまりました、相鉄様。手打ちで、おあいこで、トントンです。
うん。
She is quick to understand. I knew our personalities were alike. Wait.
86もタイトさんに買い取られたと言っていたな。ならば僕たちは似た者同士なのかもしれん。
I didn't think he would also make the comparison.
本当にそうかもしれませんね。相鉄様もこの川の源に興味がおありとのことですし。
興味を持って実際歩いた。無論子供の足で遡りきれるものではなかったが。
歩いて遡られたのですか、この川を。
なあ、興味があり時間と体力があるように思え、金はさっぱりなかったからな。
まあ、
Maybe it was something I said, but Hachiroku giggles a little.
歩 抜かれてどうなりました？
動けなくなり、翌朝を迎え発見。保護され、枕姉にこっぴどく怒られてげんこつをもらった。
げんこつですか？あの方が
86が想像しているのの多分数倍は痛いやつだ。コツンでもゴツンでもなくガンときた。
それほど強く。
うん。目から火花が飛び散った。そこに怒涛の熊本弁で手ひどく叱りつけられたのだ。
Hachiroku gives a slight nod before going quiet.
どこに行こうと勝手だが、行き先を言ってからにしろ。探すこちらが大変だと。そんな意味だと伝わってきた。
ごくまっとうなお叱りですね。
そうだな。僕もそう思った。そして同時に、この人は僕を叱ってくれると、ほっとした。
That's right. I felt relieved that I wasn't given special treatment just because I was the survivor of an accident. I was treated normally, just like any other person. I finally met someone who would treat me like a human being. And the best part is that she's a total MILF. What?
ほっとして、だから家族になれたのだろうな。今となってはそう感じる。
And the worst part is that she's considered a side character.
素敵な方なのですね、枕様は。
そうだな。誰より頼れる人だ。あの人がひとたび本気になれば。
She has hate scenes. I expected that. That's why she has a route.
相鉄様？
That's odd. Why? Think for a minute. It's obvious that Makoda is opposed to it.
なのになぜ、帝都の僕にまで届くほど、エアクラ工場誘致活動が活発になってしまったのだ。
エアクラ工場誘致活動？
Hachiroku's voice springs up.
この町にですか？この川の水を工場で汚そうというのですか？
そういう話だ。僕はそれを食い止めたいと帝都から戻ってきた。
私は素晴らしいオーナーに巡り合いました。
Her obvious hostility instantly turns into happiness. Hibiki shows off a variety of expressions, but Hachiroku shows an equal number of emotions. Look, all I'm saying is that I think Sotetsu just lacks any emotions.
私をお役立てください、相鉄様。この美しい川の町を悪の手に渡してはいけません。
悪？
What a strong word that is.
エアクラ工場は悪なのか？
エアクラそのものが名前の中にそもそも悪を内包するような存在です。
Navi, what's your opinion on what Hachiroku just said? Because aircraft sounds like Aku. Evil? Yes, Akuma means devil, so Aku means evil. Right? You get it. I'm not particularly good with wordplay, but if it's a game she wants, I'll try to play along. Because, okay, how they pronounce it is Aircraft. Wait, no. Okay, hang on. Let's just...
エアクラそのものが名前の中にそもそも悪を内包するような存在です。
But... I don't... Look, I don't want to play along.
ならば、お前が今ここで身の処し方に困っているのも名のゆえか？
それはいかなる意味でございましょうか？
流浪をお前たちはその名に内包している。
I whisper that to her. Hachiroku writes in the air with her finger.
レイルロード。 なるほど、暗示的ですね。悪に駆逐され、我々は流浪に身を落とした。
I was just trying to be playful. Hachidoku looks at me, seriousness on her face. Her lips originally straight across, drop into a frown.
やはり悪です。エアクラも、エアクラを作る工場も。
He bluntly and coldly says,
人々の暮らしから鉄道を奪い、大敗戦時代を招いた。エアクラの犯した罪を、私は決して許しません。
罪？
より便利だったから人に選ばれただけの話です。それを親倉の罪というなら逆恨みでは？
Damn, Navi couldn't take it anymore. She had to speak up.
何者ですか？
She's completely caught off guard by Navi's voice, but Hachiroku keeps calm and challenges the source of the voice.
こそこそ隠れて物申すとは卑怯千万。恥じ入りなさい。そして姿を現しなさい。
She can't. I mean, technically she's the entire plane, so...
隠れてなどいません。本気の姿はあなたの視界に捉えられています。
本気では。
She looks left and right. The stern look in her eyes softens a little.
あなたはこの飛行機なのですか？
Yeah, you've been talking shit about aircraft the entire time. She couldn't take it anymore.
飛行機ではありません。
I could feel Navi's silent rage. I won't stop them. Even if I did, the rift would just widen between them.
本機は当機試作飛行型エアクラ EFL-T007 の専用エアクラナビです。
エアクラ？まさか空を飛ぶエアクラなんて。
Well, aircraft, right? You know, it's just 2 letters off. Hachiroku turns her gaze my way. She grabs onto me. But lying to get through a situation is more evil, in my opinion.
あるのだ、今は。空にさえエアロクラフテック機関の手は届いたのだ。
ならば降ります。
Her high-pitched voice echoes, shaking the cramped canopy. Hachiroku tries frantically to find a way out.
なほうかお前は。今ここを出れば地に落ち粉々に壊れるぞ。
そうであってもエアクラになぞ。
くだらない意地で自らの職務を永遠に放棄しますか。レイルロードも聞くほどの存在ではないのですね。
Don't slide, my Hachiroku. She freezes. Hachiroku remains completely motionless. But her eyes, they begin to burn with a fiery rage.
私たちから職務を、人を、貨物を運ぶことを、レールまでをも奪ったのはあなた方でしょうに。
事実誤認の訂正を。
違うぞ、86。
I interrupt Navi. The explanation should be coming from a human.
お前自らが言っていたではないか。すべてを支配するのは人間。すべては人間の選択だ。
I was taught that by an unknown girl with golden hair. It was while I was healing from the accident. Who? But when I couldn't channel or manage my hatred. Back when I couldn't stop my emotions from unraveling. Back when I couldn't channel manage my hatred. Okay.
たとえ知性を持とうとも、物は決定を下せない。決定を下すのは常に人で、その責任を負うのも人だ。
そのことならば、当然に承知いたしております。
ならば、ナビに、物に当たるのはやめた方がいい。お前の誇りを、お前自身が貶めることになってしまうぞ。
Yeah, so Tetsu's learned that the hard way. Hachiroku's shoulders shake slightly, swallows. Is Hachiroku able to make saliva? Genuinely interested in that. Bro. This is getting out of hand, man. Like, come on. Why is she able to produce saliva?
相鉄様のおっしゃられる通りであるかと思います。取り乱し八つ当たりをしたことを心より恥じ入ります。
The hate scene. Shut up. Outside of that, man, she doesn't have a need to swallow. Like, it's not like she has a digestive system. She bows deeply. He places both hands down in the canopy and bows.
雨ですか？
See, that would be that. See, that's another reason why they can't just not have like something covering them because of rain.
Yeah.
There isn't a cloud in sight. Why would Navi say something like that?
けれど、私がその事実を認めれば、私は姉妹すべてを貶めることとなってしまいます。
She's crying. Large teardrops stream from her face, down her face. Her hands are still down on the floor, her shoulders shaking. She doesn't even try to wipe them. She just continues to sob.
ですから、たとえそれが人間の選択であろうとも。
無理に受け入れることはない。正しいと信じる必要もない。人間は間違った選択を、行動をしてしまう。それは事実で、だから事故などが起きるのだ。
Accidents still occur. It is not the fault of the things or technology. It always falls on the humans who use them. And this is why we shouldn't keep shitting on AI like it's the AI's fault, alright? It's because of the people who make shit content with it. But even if responsibility can be taken with the law, hatred cannot be erased, nor will it help heal scars. Bro, this is too relevant to what's happening with fucking AI.
僕はそのことを好みを持って知っている。だから少しはお前の憎しみにも共感できるように思う。
誤った選択を、それに巻き込まれた者の苦しみを。
そうだ。その苦しみと、それゆえのぶつけどころのない憎しみを。
Hachiroku turns her face to me. She looks at me without wiping her tears.
でしたら、どうか教えてください。私はこの憎しみをどうすれば。
If you want to direct your hatred to anywhere, direct it to the people who made Ekra. Right?
憎むべきは、その決定に巻き込まれた自分の無力さだ。憎しみをゆえに、力をつけることによって進むべきだ。
Okay, turn it into spite is what he's saying. I was taught the same thing. While I was just running away, Kaito was the one who provided that outlook, giving me hope, a new life.
力をつける。しかし、今さらそうしたところで。
時は戻せん。しかし、次には巻き込まれずに済むかもしれん。
次ですか。
来るのだ、必ず。生きてさえいれば、いやおうなしに。
If I could save someone during that time, if I can save anyone in place of Michiko, I will live to atone for that. I was taught that this is to be my most important duty.
無力を嘆く暇があるなら力をつけるために動け。無力であった自分を憎み、故に自らを鍛え抜け。
次は来ますか？私のようなものにでも。
お前がどのようなものであるのか、僕はまだほとんど知らん。
はい。
が、僕は縁あり、お前のオーナーとなった。ならば、僕は僕にできる限りを尽くそう。
Naturally, that's my duty.
お前がそれを望むなら、僕は必ず、お前に次を迎えさせよう。
そうです。様。
She begins crying again. This time it sounds as if she's partly laughing. Her pretty face is scrunched up.
体の調子までおかしいようです。私は自分一つさえ今は制御できておりません。
そうか。
Sato left her in the glass case, missing memories and extremes in the wavering of her emotions. The facts gives the substance to my imagination. Or perhaps, if that's the case, I have to fix Hachiroku. Hachiroku may be completely damaged.
望むことなど今の私には難しすぎます。ですが、それでも。
Her eyes still wet with tears. Pan up. She looked straight into my eyes.
相鉄様に教えていただいたその通り、少しでも回復のため私は力をつけて。
Growl.
それでいい。お前の体も腹が減っては戦もできんと言っている。
Excuse me? She actually has a fucking digestive system. Does she shit? Does she need to? I don't want an answer to that question, actually.
さようですね。
She answers me without being the slightest bit embarrassed. Not bad at all. Even if Hachiroku's damaged, he's much stronger than I was during that time.
なら利用しろ。エアクラであれなんであれ。最も早い道を選んで選択をできるようになれ。
はい。かしこまりました。相鉄様。何？教官？
Hachiroku twitches and straightens her back. Her eyes begin to shift about aimlessly. She soon focuses on the center panel of the canopy.
あなた、エアクラナビ。
ただナビとそれ以上の故障は不要です。
Yeah, it's not really a. Yeah, it's not a creative name, but it's a name.
そうだったのですね。ナビ、あなたもまた私たちの。
エアクラナビはエアロクラフテック社の製品です。誰の妹でもありません。
Little sister. In this case, succeeding model, or perhaps it's in the same, or perhaps it's in the sense that they've succeeded their technologies.
なるほどな。ナビが86に教官とやらを送ったか。
はい。私は間違いなく受け取りました。
ナビ、一体何と送った？
特には単に臨時の周辺情報を発信しただけです。
では偶然にそれを86が傍受してしまったというわけか。
事実群からはそのように推測されます。
Navi's cheeky words make Hachiroku break a smile.
確かにとても優位な周辺情報を私は偶然受け取りました。
Hachiroku's gaze turns downward. The altitude has dropped significantly without my knowing. I can see two clear silver lines stretched far along. Hachiroku's eyes light up with glee.
鉄道はこの町ではまだ生き延びてくれているのですね。
なあ、そのようだな。僕がこの町を出た時には青い一息だったようだが。
生き延びているなら次があります。相鉄様のお言葉ですよ。
The way she talks is her usual self, but her voice is obviously happier. If she had a tail, she would... If she had a tail, I'm sure she'd be wagging it right now.
近くに降りて見てみるか？
Don't give them any ideas.
できるのですか？
できる。ナビ。
了解しました。最適な着水地点をサーチします。
Since it's a river town, the train tracks are usually right alongside the water, meaning to say there's no shortage of water to land on.
サーチ終了。直ちに着水を開始しますか？
You should have cat ears and a tail as well. I told them not to give them ideas, but they wouldn't listen. You would be so cute. I mean, yeah, but still. Summer tracks. Those words on their own sound clear and refreshing, but
随分と汚れているな。
it's covered in rust and mud. No part of this place is refreshing, to be honest. I find it unsightly. I purchased it again because the Steam version doesn't have hate scenes, even with the patch. But if you do install the patch, you do see the nipple in that scene. Right. But they don't have hate scenes.
僕はよく知らんのだが、鉄道の線路というのはこんなものなのか？
実用品の最たるものです。汚れ傷むのは当然ですが、これはそう、いささか手入れが悪すぎますね。
I don't like false hope. I don't like giving it to others, just as much as I don't like giving it to myself.
ならば、ナビの周辺情報とやらは古かったのかもしれん。この路線はすでに廃線されているのではないか？
And with the foggy version, you have to allow controversial content, which wasn't working for me when I first tried to play this. Right. If, you know, I'm just gonna pirate it. If you can't get hate scenes in the Steam version, I'm just, you know.
いいえ、相鉄様。確かに痛みくたびれてはいますが、このレールは生きています。
I mean, you can try. There's no trying. I can pirate it. Instant declaration. Her words feel convincing because she's speaking fact.
ほう、なぜわかる？
当面です。
The wheel treads. Okay, yeah, that's what I expected. I guess that needs a glossary entry. I'm installing the patch on the Steam version. I mean, yeah, I'll do that first, and if there's no hate scenes, I'll obviously.
当面。
踏む面と書いて当面と読みます。相鉄様にでしたらこれだけで十分なのでは？
なるほどな。
Yeah, I just read the glossary entry for it. I blankly look at the tracks. Hachiroku gives me a hint, and I understand.
列車が踏む。車輪で削る面であるから当面か。故に、そこだけは錆びつかない。
The top of the tracks. The top of the tracks does not have rust. The top of the tracks do not have rust or dirt on it. I guess. It has a dull silver color, as if it were sanded down.
もしも配線されていれば、当然、列車は走らず、故にレールも削られはせず。
Oh, and you can unlock all H scenes right from the get-go. I only did it to make sure the H scenes weren't censored, but I reverted that save so I didn't. Right.
その通り、当面までもが錆と汚れに覆われるのです。そうして全ては朽ちていきます。
Hachiroku walks briskly on the gravel laid by the tracks. She walks lightly in small strides, barely making any noise. Her strides are so small that it's difficult to match them. This is why you carry her, alright? Because she's too slow on her own.
生きてはいますが、残念ながら上空で相鉄様が言われた通りの状況のようですね。
僕が
青息と息と、実際このバラストはもう限界を超えています。
Hachiroku crouches down, picking up the pebbles, not the sand, from below the tracks.
それがバラストか。
バラストであったものです。相鉄様、こうなってはもうバラストとしての用をなしません。
When you hit 21, you're past your prime. Yeah, coming from the American where drinking age starts at 21. Hachiroku explains it concisely. The ballast is the grave supporting the tracks and cross ties. By crushing itself, it absorbs the shock caused by the train dealt to the tracks. The trains dealt to the tracks.
砂にまで砕けてしまっては、バラストとしての役割はもう果たせんわけか。
I was mostly joking, just so you know. Which part of it was which part of it weren't you joking about?
はい。ですので普通はもっと早い段階でバラストを敷き直すのですが。
予算がないか、人員がないか、その両方か。いずれ、従前ではない状況にあるのは変わらんか。
と思われます。レールも軽いものですから、この状態では振動がかなりひどくなりましょうし。
うん。
振動は車体や貨物に悪影響を与えます。乗客がいるのなら苦情もきっと出てきましょう。
乗客か。
We are in what people call the aircraft age. In this day and age, every single person can afford one. Vibrations vibrate. Okay. The passengers that continue riding trains must have their own reasons for doing so.
私が整備ボディならバラスト式のお手伝いくらいはできるのですが。
整備ボディ。
自分の車両の整備もまたレールロードの仕事なのです。とはいえ、この体では力仕事がこなせません。
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Any theories so far on anything? No. There's no mystery here yet. Hachidoku flexes her thin arm to reinforce the point. I don't see any muscles anywhere.
ですので、私たちレールロードは運行管理ボディと整備ボディの2種の体を使い分けるのです。
ほう、器用なものだな。
器用。いえ、人間で言えば適切な工具を使うとか、場に合う服に着替えるような感じではないかと。
Look, the only thing interesting is that the rail lords and slash the aircraft have this communication system that is so much more advanced than our current technology, our current communication systems, right? They're instantly able to communicate with one another on what exactly is happening. What do you mean? Isn't there some mystery where you're at? I guess not really. What's currently happening is that Hachidoku just needs coal. There's not really anything going on. This isn't the same as Amazing Grace, alright?
そんなものか。ん?
There are some why questions, right? No. What questions did you have when you were playing, when you were at this point of the game? Off on the horizon, I see something hazy come up, wavering in the distance from the heat.
86、来い。
何でしょう、相鉄様。
Once she's close enough, I wrap an arm around her side and pick her up. I lift her higher than my face. He's gonna do that thing, isn't he? Probably just being down bad the first time I started playing this, of course.
見えるか？あれだ。
He has her up on his shoulders.
駅です。
I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is that Hachidoku is a lot heavier than you would expect, right? Because she's not human, so she's got metallic parts, right? I guess. I don't know. She works like a steam she has like steam engine parts. Wouldn't that make the sex better? What? Sure. She answers immediately. Her feet start kicking in midair.
ならば行くぞ。落ちるなよ。
相鉄様。
I hold Hachidoku close to my chest. Oh, never mind. He's just holding her at the waist level. I thought he said that it was holding her up above his head. I mean, if you are heavier, more pressure, right? Or am I wrong? You get to a certain point where it's more detrimental to your pelvis. All right. Only about 100 feet left. We get closer to the station. Hachidoku's grip on my collar lightens. But Hachidoku doesn't have to worry about that. Yeah, I guess. She's not that heavy, alright? She's heavy for her size. That doesn't mean she's heavy in general. That's how he's easily able to lift her.
相鉄様。これは廃液です。
Bro, it's been 12 fucking minutes. Anyway, what'd you say again?
相鉄様。これは廃液です。
I haven't heard it on any other stream/VOD. Well, yeah, that's because not many streamers use application audio capture. They just have one setup they just have one audio capture for their entire computer. That's why there's not an issue there. Unlike me, who has separate audio channels for everything, right? So that if something accidentally is playing in the background, it's muted, right? That's why I have to always unmute and mute my YouTube audio mixer. Like anti, yeah, of course. I step inside and see what that Hachiroku was right. Grass and foliage have long since overrun the area, spreading and covering even the station's platform. The dull red of rust tears at the tracks.
なるほど。こちらの線路は生きていないな。
生きていないのは対比線だけではありません。
Hachiroku pulls out my clothes, guides me toward a direction of choice. On top of the platform are corroded rectangular wooden blocks.
これはあれか。なんとか駅という縦看板か。
はい。駅名標の名残ですね。こうも傷んでしまっては、もはやその役も果たせません。
Okay. Hang on. Why was there a glossary entry for station's name? Station sign. This is the sign or board that shows the name of the railway station. I never would have guessed. The white paint was chipped off. The red undercoating and parts of the wood are exposed as well. Thoughts? About what? The temperature in your room? Cold, I guess.
列車やレールロードと同じく、駅さえ死んでしまうものなのですね。
I like it like that. 55 to 60 is best. Yeah, in Celsius, that would be death levels. So the station's sign also doubles as its tombstone now. In F. I know, that's why I specified if it was in Celsius. Most of its writing has faded. Only one letter is still legible.
服か。名は体を表してはくれなかったのだな。
どうでしょう。家福や冥福という駅名であったのかもしれません。
まさか。
Would you have your room at that temp if you could? No. I would not. That's why my room is only at 24 degrees. Click the lock button in the bottom right. No, I know. It hides the menu, but it you know, I like seeing this bar at the bottom. So I keep it.
いいえ、あり得る話なのです。
75F is way too hot. No? 24 degrees, 24 Celsius is not hot. Especially when outside is usually 32. She gives off a slight smile. Hachiroku lights up lethargically.
駅名は地名由来が多いですから、怪我、不幸だという駅名もあります。
世の中は広いものだな。
I should have been Alaskan, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
そうですね。
Hachiroku's finger points at the rusted station placard.
広い世の中を 少しでも狭くするお手伝いを私たちは懸命に果たしてきたつもりでしたが。
It's hard to tell if Hachiroku just can't bring herself to say the next words, or if she's intentionally holding back. Whichever it may be, doesn't change what I have to say next.
物は滅びる。人は死ぬ。決まっている。それはどうあっても不可避のことだ。
Hachiroku called this the sidetrack earlier. It's the line that separates and goes around the platform. I could tell that those tracks have completely rusted the face of death.
しかし今、僕と86は生き延びている。この線路にしても生き延びているものはある。
I have it unlocked. Personally, I like to see the game more. You're not missing out on you're not missing out on much. Hiding what is being hid when you hide this. To see more clearly. Right. That's cope. I point at the lines moving alongside the platform. Those tracks are silver. It looks better. Okay. Hang on. Do you also like... Where is it? Do you also lower the opacity of the window to 0 to see more of the game? In H scenes. Yeah, okay. I was joking, but... Look, lowering the opacity of the text box does a lot more than hiding this. Not during the story, though. I pointed the lines moving alongside the platforms. Those tracks are silver.
違うか？
違いません。相鉄様のおっしゃる通り、対比線は死んでいても本線はまだ生きている。
Hachiroku's fingers brush the sign and move away from it. Her eyes look past where I pointed, and she looks up ahead.
でしたらどこかにまだ生きている駅もありましょう。そこにはきっと生きている列車と鉄道員も。
I have it less transparent normally, or more transparent. It's not like I need to see that all the time. Get what I mean, right? Yeah.
私はその方たちにお会いいたしたく思います。そして何か小さくてもお手伝いできること。
Growl.
86、時計とゼンマイ鍵を。
ありがとうございます、相鉄様。
You know, if real life was an anime, bro, the joke is when you go to Japan and you don't see the subtitles. Hachiroku's fuel efficiency seems to be quite bad. Continuing to depend on the winder isn't efficient.
手順に戻ろう。寄り道をしてしまったが、まずは何より腹ごしらえだ。
I was not talking about isekai or something. I thought you were talking back about the opacity. You hide the window, and now you have the text. It's like... Real life was an anime. But if Japan had the subtitles...
はい、相鉄様。どうぞお願いいたします。
任せろ。ナビ。
I call to it, and the plane flies above us. I was just saying if real life was an anime. Yeah. If real life was an anime, we would all be dead. It circles slowly around, and after shaking the tail 2 or 3 times, it flies in one direction.
行くぞ。あの先にナビが着水して待っている。
ナビは相鉄様を上空からフォローしていたのですか？
あれはいささかおせっかいでな。僕の身に危機が及ばぬよう見張りするのが趣味らしい。
見張りが趣味ですか？
I said it jokingly, but I wasn't joking at all. To save my life is the top priority. When Navi was still a prototype, that was the order given to it.
飛行型エアクラが処理すべき情報の量は地上型のそれとは段違いらしくてな。
それは当然のことでしょうね。どれほどの情報量か、私には想像もつきません。
Who gave the order to Navi anyway? The rail workers at the start of the game. I don't remember if we get an answer to that. I mean, you would assume it would have been one of the 3 people who brought up the Navi, who brought up the aircraft at the start of the game. So that seems too simple. Occam's razor. You know? Huh? Oh, okay. Occam's razor. Shut up. Occam's razor is the principle where the simplest answer is usually the correct one, alright? You apply it to most conspiracy theories, right? And you apply it to this situation until, you know, a more viable answer is given, I guess. Are there times where that theory falls apart? Well, yeah. But that's why, you know, it's not used all the time.
故に飛行型のエアクラナビは調整が難しいものらしい。一度固まったところをいじろうとすれば壊れるほどに。
Which is why it was one of the very few prototypes in Japan. Light aircraft are still rare and valuable. Eka got taken off YouTube. He started the second channel. Interesting. I exchanged my compensation for it, making it my personal belonging. I would say this was inevitable. Surprised? No. Do you know how many fucking age-restricted videos he had? I'm not surprised. I'm very much not surprised.
そうなのですか。
何をしても直せぬものならこちらが慣れるほかにない。見張られるのも慣れればなかなか便利なものだ。
There is YouTube Kids for a reason. Okay. Just because there's YouTube Kids doesn't mean you can post... There's age restriction for a reason. YouTube hates VNs. Aikman is not a visual novel guy. He's a copy pasta guy. She stops right there. A long silence ensues. All of them? You sure? Yeah, maybe for you, it's all of them, because the only visual novels you play are fucking lolly visual novels, lolly eroge. And in my arms, Hachiroku closes her lips tightly and stays silent. Most VN YouTubers only have at most 5k. Okay, I'm not surprised, considering how shit visual novels are for audience retention, right? That's why I'm doing the streams, because I'm trying to provide more than just the content in the visual novel, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not. Most people aren't going to sit through an hour and a half video of someone playing through what is essentially just a storybook. Is essentially just a book with pictures. But the being community is decently big, right? Look at Nekopara. I mean, yeah. But the only difference is that the visual novels that make it big are the ones that get adapted into anime. Right? Steins Gate's huge. Fate's huge. Nekopara's kind of huge. That one's kind of an exception, right? The only reason Nekopara was big is because it was one of the first visual novels to pop off with animation, right? Cat girls, that too. Cat girls have always been kind of popular. Maitetsu. That's the difference, right? Nekopara is short. Maitetsu, long as fuck. Right? Especially the second game. 94 hours? Most people aren't going to play through that game. Right? Fate succeeded because it was adapted into an anime. No one's gonna play through the Fate visual novel unless you're really into Fate. Right? Nekopara Volume 1 came out first. I told you that Nekopara Volume 1 succeeded because it's short, it has cat girls, and it's animation, right? Interesting. Maitetsu is pretty big too, I think. I mean, yeah, you can usually base it off of how many followers the Twitch category has, right? Maitetsu is pretty big. It's 22 followers, right? Supposedly it should give me more. I should get more views on Maitetsu than Maitetsu Cupid, right? But you know, time will tell, I guess, because at the moment, Uta's Route is still my highest viewed videos. Just the first 6 episodes I released of Maitetsu Cupid. That's when I peaked. A gusty sound rips past. I can't hear anything but the wind. Moments go by, but Hachiroku's muteness lingers. A single word wrestles free, I guess. You understand what I'm trying to say? I understand what you're trying to say, but you could give me the lore of this game. Alright. So essentially, how do I explain? I just started playing this game yesterday, right? So there's not much I know. Essentially, think of like a steampunk world, right? Where it's futuristic shit, but it's industrial revolution, aesthetic, right? You know how it is. Start with the protagonist trauma. Okay, I guess I could start with what happens at the start of the game. Alright, so at the start, we meet this girl. Her name is Hachiroku. She is what you would call. She is what is known as a rail lord, which is essentially a lolly train girl. No, essentially she controls the train. Not kinda, yeah. She's kind of like the navigation system for the train, right? When it like you with trains, that you have to constantly communicate with other conductors, right? And so that you don't end up crashing into each other. So at the start of the game, she is communicating with another rail lord and finds out that the bridge they're about to cross has collapsed. So they have to stop the train hard. But the problem is, for knowing you guys, I'm thinking of a different train. No actual trains, alright? This visual novel is made by someone who is very passionate about trains, right? The problem is, we still haven't seen another train past the opening, right? So she's communicating with another rail lord. The bridge collapsed. They try to stop the train, but the problem is the train's going too fast. So they're kind of in a dilemma, right? They either stop the train hard and risk toppling over, derailing, right? Or they don't stop hard enough and they go into the river, right? So they make the split decision of stopping the train as hard as possible. They topple over, and the main guy was one of the passengers on that train. And he barely made it out alive, but his sister died. Supposedly. We've only heard we only know what he says, right? And he said that his sister died in that train accident. Anyway, fast forward however many years, and he comes back. So that whole game is a little Asian girl trying to stop a train. Well, she's more the navigation system for the train, right? She's not the one controlling it, and also the train, she's not the brakes of the game. But that's just at the start, right? That was just more backstory for the main protagonist and the main heroine, right? These two guys. I guess it could be that she's hungry, right? Oh, right. Speaking of, it's more airplanes versus trains. Yeah, I guess. Speaking of, this girl is not human, right? How do I explain? Because she eats coal. Yeah, I guess. She's powered by steam, right? Instead of a stomach, she has a steam engine. So she has to drink water and eat coal. I become worried and decide just to watch her for a minute. In that time, I realized how imprudent it was for me to call her a doll before. And then there is these things called, can I ever see a normal game? This is a normal enough game. Look, Dexter funds me, so I can't play normal games. I played Hollow Knight for one stream, and then, you know, she blinks, sweats, and even appears to breathe. Hachiroku seems to embody all human mannerisms. It doesn't seem like she can't move. Maybe I should just leave her alone. When a person points out something that you wanted left alone, you tend to shy away from that person, or at least shut down a bit. That's true, be it with people or with things. Not stepping into where you are not welcome is just as important as the reverse. You're on Rose payroll. I mean, he literally gifted me the game, so I feel obliged to play it. Okay? The problem is that he's gifted me too many visual novels, and, you know, I'm not going to be able to get through all of them.
相鉄様、お伺いしてよろしいでしょうか。
構わん。
Perhaps having gotten bored with the silence, Hachiroku finally opens her mouth. The tone in her voice is strong. Also, I forgot to talk about this, but there is an entire glossary for this game, or terms that you may or may not know, not only for concepts in this game, but for real life shit, right? Like a lot of train shit. There was brewery shit somewhere, right? Because one of the characters runs a brewery. The main guy's family runs a brewery. He was adopted by them, by the way, but they don't like talking about it. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because, where is it? This sympathetic connection. Right. This is essentially what essentially that is what rail lords used to communicate with other rail lords, right? They use the sympathetic communication system, whatever it is. That's kind of the biggest mystery I have at the moment. Apparently there's more questions I should be asking, but yeah. Anyway, the reason this game is like trains versus airplanes is because this company, I guess, developed this engine for planes known as aircraft, right? Aircraft without the FT or whatever, which has the same system. So then, trains kind of died out, and essentially what they said is ground-based transportation kind of died out, and then planes kind of took over because it became so affordable to buy these like aircraft things, right? Thanks for the hydrate. And the stretch. Perhaps getting bored with the silence, finally opens her mouth. The tone of her voice is strong.
私いささか今時のエアクラの便利さを侮ってしまっていたようです。
The blanket is over the hat again. Yeah, it's never going to be fixed.
そうか。
Navi is an exception among exceptions, but the more commonly sold land vehicles can do autopiloting and select the most optimal route. The convenience of aircraft is not to be underestimated.
鉄道が青い木と駅にまで追いやられたのも人間の選択を超えたある種必然かとさえ感じました。
ほう。
Acknowledging the inferiority of the railways would be an insult to her sisters. That's what Hachiroku said earlier, but now she's stating reality without mixing in any kind of self-ridicule.
けれど鉄道は青い木と駅でも生き延びています。ならばそこにも必然があると私は思うのです。
うん。
I nod, not only to Hachiroku's words, but to her attitude. Hachiroku is not looking to the past, but rather the future. She has greatly changed in that regard, and in such a short period of time at that.
ですのでエアクラのオーナーでもある相鉄様にぜひとも教えていただきたいのです。
何をだ？
エアクラにできないことを、彼女たちが苦手にしていることが何かということを。
よかろう。
Navi is also quiet. At first, it respected Hachiroku's silence. Now it feels as if it's respecting her will.
エアロクラフテック機関の心臓部はキルクイティウムという宝石状の化合物だ。
How do you pronounce that? Kilquitium? I mean, I'm probably not going to have to pronounce it for a while, but, you know, it'd be better to try to pronounce it now than when I have to. That's what I studied right away when I heard information about the factory. I tell Hachiroku of the fruits of my labor.
これに制御された地磁気と太陽光との影響が加わると回転運動が開始される。
その回転運動が例えばピストンなどを動かす動力となっているのですか？
極めて省略して考えればその通り。故にエアクラは非常なローコストによる運用が可能だ。
Liquitium is not actually a word. I'm not surprised. I'm also surprised that they didn't have a glossary entry for it. Actually, I can check, can't I?
はい。太陽光と地磁気、ほぼ無尽蔵に得られそうな動力源ですものね。
Okay. Interesting. I nod. Hachiroku has it right. If there weren't consumable parts, the aerocraft tech engine could be considered a perpetual motion machine.
しかしキルクイティウムには弱点がある。それは共振崩壊という現象だ。
共振崩壊。共振して崩壊する。その共振と崩壊ですか？
I'm also surprised there wasn't a glossary entry for resonance.
ああ、キルクイティウム同士を近づけすぎると、その双方の回転が制御不能となり、崩壊に至る。
でしたら、キルクイティウムを集中しての運用は不可能ということになりますね。
Well, it's a train game, not about aircraft. Well, resonance isn't always about. When I think of resonance, right? I think of bridges, right? There is a thing called resonance frequency. Essentially, what happens is with bridges, a lot of people step on a bridge, right? And with a lot of people on a bridge, a lot of the times they step in sync, right? And because of that, it's hard for me to explain, but essentially it resonates this certain thing, frequency, I guess, and it leads to what basically ends up being a bridge's collapse, right? This is why when soldiers, right, you know how soldiers they are, they have to walk in step with each other, they sync up. When crossing a bridge, they have to intentionally walk out of sync as to not essentially destroy the bridge, right? There are a lot of videos, like back in the day, when this was not as well known, of bridges essentially, like you see videos of these bridges essentially just moving like they're made of putty, even though they're just solid concrete metal bridges. They're moving like they are the most flexible, elastic structures known to man because of resonance frequency, right? At worst, right, the bridge sways to ungodly amounts. At best, I mean, and at worst, it can lead to a bridge's collapse, right? That's kind of what's going on here, I think. But that's also why I think it should be important for the game to talk about it, I guess. I'm only saying that because of the bridge collapse at the start of the game. At the same time, that's probably not why the bridge collapsed, right?
だな。そしてキルクイティウムの製造コストは体積が2倍で2乗、3倍で3乗になると言われている。
I'm not that well versed in it, right? I watched the YouTube video. I'm essentially parodying from it. I watched it like 2 years ago, so it's not fresh in my mind what resonance frequency essentially is. Surely, someone will comment and correct me on the VOD. Or, you know, when the main channel video eventually comes out.
2倍で地上。仮に100立方センチの化合物の製造コストが100円だとすると、
200のコストは1万円。300のコストは100万円になる。そして、ある程度を超える大きさのものの製造は不可能だ。
Hachiroku nods deeply.
でしたら、鉄道車両のように車体そのものが何十トンもあるようなものには。
その通り。エアロクラフテック機関は実装できない。また、分割できない巨大物の運搬も増えてだ。
That's an interesting system. Essentially meaning that it works in smaller vehicles because it's cost efficient, but the bigger the scale, the more exponential the cost of the parts get, I guess. For example, hanging it from a bunch of aircraft vehicles, it's not impossible, but it can't pick up any significant speed. The resonance bridge thing. Did you Google it? Or are you just replying to yourself to correct? I wasn't misunderstanding what you meant when you said never heard of that. I don't care if you read it. No, I did. When transporting larger animals like orcas, I hear they still use vehicles with gas engines.
ということは、
She looks straight at me. Her gaze is powerful.
そのあたりのエアクラにできないことを、鉄道がうまく果たせることを世間一般に認めさせれば。
そうだな。共存も共栄も十分に可能だろう。実際、エアクラ全交通機関が活躍している地域では。
相鉄様、警告です。当機は飛行回避空域に接近しているとのことです。
Uh-oh.
ん？
Navi interrupts our conversation, and for a brief moment, I don't understand.
なんだ、その回避区域というのは。
エアロクラフテック社が設定している飛行回避すべき空域です。
それはまあそうだろうが、回避すべき理由は？
Area 51.
明示されていません。
The Bermuda Triangle. Iraq. Never mind.
なぜだ？いや。
If it is a setting by the aerocraft tech company, normally Navi would automatically process things as top priority. There's no need for an explanation. There isn't even a question that can be answered.
お前の場合はエアクラ社の設定より僕の命令の方が優先順位において勝るのだな。
当然のことです。そしてそれより優先すべき相鉄様のお命を守るを果たすため不時着します。
は？不時着？
なるほど。これは僕のミスだ。
What I should have done was not ask why, and instead give the order to avoid the area. Without that, Navi would just follow my original command of as long as there is no danger to my life.
いえ、大丈夫なのですか？どんどんと高度が落ちているようですが。
I mean, that is what planes do. They do lower in altitude.
大丈夫だ、86。僕の命を安全に保つための不時着であるのだから。
相鉄様のおっしゃる通りです。本機の機関推力は安全な不時着のため、まだ大幅な余力を残しています。
余力を残す？
This is the first time I've heard that from Navi. Power reserve. That's a term I've never thought would have anything to do with aircraft engines.
当機は磁場以上に巻き込まれています。機関、このまま進めば停止が予想されます。
And that explains why it's a no-fly zone.
磁場以上？
I now remember when I was going to the Jutsusen coal mine ruins with an aircraft. I was following Hibiki's voice.
なるほどな。
In regions where magnetic fields aren't stable, the aircraft engine doesn't work. That's why Hibiki stopped me from going with an aircraft. This railway must still be operational.
何事にも理由があるものだな。
そうてつ様、何をのんきな。
I mean, you know, it's not that scary. The plane flies in a gentle curve as it descends. Soon, a silver light can be seen on the ground.
不時着ってまさか。
線路上か。
Uh-oh. The forest rustles. It's as if the trees parted and made a runway for us. Because there's no water nearby. This must have been the safest choice.
ダメダメダメダメ、やめてやめてやめてやめて。
Why the fuck did it happen now? This is fucking bullshit. What did you say again?
ダメダメダメダメ、やめてやめてやめてやめて。当面削れて枕ヒートにバラスト砕けてしまいます。
不時着します。念のため対衝撃姿勢をお取りください。
だそうだ、86。
そうです様。
I held Hachiroku close to me to cover her.
ナビ、可能か？僕らの安全とレールの状態を共に守ることが。
ご命令がなくとも、相鉄様。
Okay. Fuck you, Navi. We float up briefly. The airplane lifts, and I feel a momentary weightlessness. And then we land. The float managed to slide us onto the tracks before coming to a stop.
当機の機体重量では、レールを傷めろという方が、より困難なご命令ですので、